Now, we just got done talking about UDP and saw that it provides fast, lightweight delivery without guarantees. In this section, we're going to examine the opposite, right? How reliable delivery data over an unreliable network? Because you got to remember, the internet is not reliable. This is focus here is not on TCP yet. We're not going to talk about that yet. But the core idea is that any reliable transport protocol must implement. All right, so networks do not guarantee perfect delivery. Packets can be lost, they arrive out of order, they can be duplicated, or they experience variable delays. We know that reliable data transfer exists to handle those realities, and we need to provide applications with the illusion of a dependable communication channel. And yes, I said the illusion of a dependable communication channel, because there is no such thing as a dependable communication channel. All right, to achieve reliability, our protocols must detect errors, they must confirm successful delivery, and they must retransmit missing data. Those are the three keys associated with reliability across the internet. They also need a way to track which data has been sent and acknowledged, typically using what we call a sequence number. So we're sending a text message and waiting for a read, right? You send one message, then you wait until you see the read before sending the next text message. We send, wait for confirmation, send, wait for confirmation. However, if that confirmation never arrives, then we need to resend the message again. This is reliable communication in the Internet of Things. Now, instead of things going, hey, I'm going to wait 2 minutes, we're talking about very quick here. We're talking seconds or milliseconds. That's what we're looking for, okay? All right. Instead of waiting for the read, we send several messages in a row. This would be pipelining, right? Messages are in flight simultaneously. So we're going to send multiple messages, and then we're going to wait on that reply to come back later, right? So the communication feels a little bit faster. I can send 2 or 3 text messages, and then I can wait for my wife to respond, right? But now you must keep track of which messages were sent and which ones were received. And so if I'm talking to my wife and I'm like, hey, I'm at the grocery store. Do you need milk? Do you need eggs? Do you need butter? I send milk, eggs, butter, all in 3 different text messages, okay? And she sends back and she says, yes, we need butter. Okay, well, that's butter. What about the other 2? What about the milk and the eggs? And so the system needs to respond to each packet that we sent. And this is pipelining, right? So pipelining improves efficiency by allowing multiple packets to be in transit at the same time, and that better utilizes our network, but introduces the need for coordination and tracking across multiple outstanding packets. So how would this be achievable in the real world? I send my wife a text message. I said, do we need milk? Do we need butter? Do we need eggs? She responds back and she says, yes, we need milk, cheese, and butter. Okay? Or milk, eggs, and butter. So she sent back in one packet, she's acknowledged all 3. That's pipelining. That's what we're trying to accomplish. All right? All right. Sliding window. You can spend up to a credit limit before you must make a payment. So our window is our credit limit, our messages are our purchases, and our acknowledgments are our payments. All right? So a payment arrives, your available credit increases. Makes sense, right? If I got $500 in my credit card and I max it out, then I need to wait for a payment to push forward before it drops down that balance, and then I can respend the credit. As the window slides, we forward as acknowledgement comes in. The sliding window limits how many packets can be sent without the acknowledgement. As acknowledgement arrives, the window moves forward, allowing new packets to be sent. This balance efficiency is called the sliding window concept. Okay, think about an overcharged credit card. I maxed out my credit card. I can't spend more until I've made a payment. Once I've made the payment, I can spend that money again. Same basic concept. All right, the go back in, right? A teacher collects homework in order. If assignment number 3 is missing, then assignments 4, 5, and 6 are ignored. You must do your assignments in order. Students must resubmit assignment number 3 before I can accept assignment 4, 5, and 6, even if the later work was already done. So you send a packet to me. You're saying, hey, here's message number 1. Here's message number 2. Here's message number 4. Here's message 5. Here's message 6. I'm going to ignore message 4, 5, and 6. I haven't received message number 3 yet. In go back in, the sender maintains a window of packets, but the receiver only accepts the data in order. So that sequence number matters. If a packet is lost, the sender retransmits that packet, and all subsequent packets go back into the window. All right, selective repeat. Imagine you're downloading a folder with multiple files at once. Files 1, 2, and 4 download successfully. However, file number 3 fails partway through. Your system keeps the completed files, 1, 2, 4, and 5, but only file number 3 needs to be re-downloaded. Nothing else is thrown away. This is selective repeat, and it improves our efficiency by allowing the receiver to accept out-of-order packets. So it's a little bit more efficient. Only missing packets are retransmitted. This reduces unnecessary traffic, but requires more state and buffering to go in. We also need to keep track of it better. All right, reliable data transfers involve trade-off between efficiency, complexity, and resource usage. More advanced approaches improve performance, but require additional buffering, processing, and protocol logic. This is where that give and take comes into play. Everything in technology has a give and everything has a take. It just depends on what we're trying to utilize within our system. Sometimes we need it in order. Sometimes we don't. Sometimes we want the speed. Sometimes we want the efficiency. It all depends, and that's where network analysis really comes into play.